That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Getting my lips on. Hey guys, it's Friday night. Welcome to Spittin' Fire with Racheal, Blaze, and Tarzan. Oh my gosh.
Sponsored by GNC, in case you're wondering.
He is a sponsored athlete.
Tarzan 20.
GNC Batavia.
20% off.
Oh, wait, what was that?
Tarzan 20 for 20% off. Stop by.
I know.
Tell him Destin sent you.
We've got a great show tonight. I'm so excited. We've got Burt Watson coming on tonight. I'm so excited to catch up with him. He's such an awesome, amazing person. I love that guy, and he will definitely enlighten us all with some amazing stuff tonight. And I have to say, I couldn't figure out a poll question. Okay, so I don't know.
It's just up to you guys. You guys
Right.
just hit us
No.
with questions.
Well, you can. That would be great. That would be helpful. I couldn't think of a poll question. And so my poll question was, grass-fed steak is better than non-grass-fed. Agree or disagree? So let me tell you how we got in that topic. So this week, actually yesterday, there was grass-fed beef, and then there was regular beef, like GMO corn-fed beef. Yeah. So I tried the two differences, and the grass-fed is definitely different. It's heartier. It tastes completely different, and I can see why it's $18 a steak. But it was 50% off. So we indulged and tried yesterday. Yes, I do bargain shop sometimes. We bargain shop in this house.
Was a manager special. They were going quick. We had to get them out.
I'm so excited. And so this is going to be really funny. We're going to have a great time. So tonight at 7:00 Central Standard Time, I keep getting the time zones messed up here. We have an extra chair. Don't think that we have a ghost in the house and we're just welcoming our ghost.
This is Billy.
This is Billy. But we're going to have Andrew come in and have a little chat with us. And so the little history is he's my neighbor across the street, but he has some awesome things to talk about. And his brother is a pro MMA fighter. So if that tells you anything, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. So I'm super excited. And we're, guys, you got to go and like the A2D radio on Facebook. Please like the Spittin' Fire with Racheal Blaze on Facebook as well. We have some great giveaways on both platforms. Please go ahead and like, share, and tell all your friends about us. Yay. The only mother-son podcast in the world, probably. I don't know. Well, here in Illinois, anyway, that I know of.
It's probably in the world.
Yeah, probably in the world. So the mother, son.
Yeah.
Not too many sons want to come hang out with their mom for 2 hours and talk about stuff. Okay. So
especially boobs and breast implants.
Yeah.
All the feminine things.
But I have to tell you that I am really excited about A2D Radio. They reached their 50,000 likes on Facebook. So I'm super excited about that. It's a forever growing show. Everybody loves A2D Radio, and there's some amazing hosts and co-hosts and guys that have shows and girls that have shows. It's freaking awesome. You guys got to check it out. There's so many different themes on the platform. Okay, you guys, there's a topic for everyone to listen to. The other thing I wanted to say is I'm going to give a giveaway of Spittin' Fire t-shirts. So once we reach the 500 likes on Facebook, guess what? You're going to be entered in to win a free t-shirt from Racheal and Tarzan. That's pretty exciting. I still have to order my
Wait,
t-shirts. That's
You
really
said
bad.
after 500 likes. So is it the person?
So
is
it's
it the
fine
500
when we reach. Yeah, when we reach
gotta-
500. Good question.
See, we
When
gotta
we reach,
clarify this.
yeah, when we reach 500 likes, all of those 500 people go into a big pot, which I'll learn how to do that because I've seen people do it the computer thing, and I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna learn how to do it. So we're gonna put it in there, so there's no like favoritism, and somebody's gonna win something. Maybe it might be two. Maybe I'm super generous. I'm a very generous person, so it might be 2 giveaways. Who knows? So go ahead and like the page. Hey, grass-fed beef obviously is better. Oh, I know. I am not a big GMO Destin. He'll tell you, oh my gosh, I am super anal about like
she likes it fancy. She likes it fancy meat.
organic,
It's gotta be organically
and-
grown,
but given
grass fed, no
not
hormones.
breastfed.
Oh,
What's
well,
wrong with
it could
you?
be breastfed too. I said grass fed, but
Oh, I thought you said
like,
breastfed. I'm
it
like,
could
wait
be
a minute.
breastfed. I don't know.
It's
Maybe
hard
there's
to-
some cows that eats milk. I don't know.
I don't know, but I heard goats are really good. You can actually take it right out the nipple.
So bad.
That's what I heard. Everybody has a goat, right? So, well, not everybody has a
meat,
goat.
yeah.
I mean,
That's
that's
good
what I've
food.
heard. Goat's milk is really supposed to be really good for you guys. So you could suckle the nipple if you
Supposedly.
had to. Like
Supposedly.
if there's nothing else to eat in the world, well, you could find a goat and you can,
Just don't ask the FDA because it's not FDA approved.
yeah. So,
Hasn't been pasteurized yet. So bad.
and that is, I'm trying to, maybe I need to put my
No.
glasses on. No. Okay. A lot of stuff is going on. This is so exciting. Sports arena, life in general. It's 2021. I say WON. We are all going to win this year, right? We're going to win. We're going to win. What's up? Hey, Jake. How are you?
Hello.
Grass-fed is definitely better. Yeah. Have you noticed that there's a different taste with it? I don't know. Did you taste different? I mean, it tasted really different to me. Not gamey, but it's
I
just
think
different.
it tastes better. I don't know. There's something about grass-fed beef that just it tastes more high quality, so to speak. I don't know. It's like getting a
Fancy.
steak at a steakhouse. Like, you're getting like some of the best stuff. You go to Fogo de Chao, they have like the best steak. That's what it tastes like.
Yeah, it
Except
does,
for I
doesn't it?
can't
Right.
cook it like that. It always either
Yeah.
comes out too overdone or underdone or in
Or
between.
really
I'm
raw.
I'm lucky to get it in
It's
between just right.
mooing.
Some people like it, raw,
Mm.
medium.
I
know,
yes, that's
underdone.
true. I knew someone. I had a friend who we would go to these fancy steakhouses, like like $80 a steak type fancy, and he would order his steak 5 minutes on one side, 5 minutes on the other side, and it's raw and bloody in the middle. I'm like, how can you eat that? Like, bleh.
Well, was it warm or was it cold? If it's cold, there's definitely a problem.
I don't know, but I like it medium rare, but I cannot do rare. It's just bleh. I can eat sushi though.
Yeah, medium's good. Medium to a medium rare.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, you should try it. You should try it sometime.
Hello, did somebody just call?
Right? Did anybody else hear that ping?
I know. What was
Anybody?
that? Did you do something, Dustin?
All I've been touching is the wire.
It's your fault.
That's it.
You did it. Wait, what time is it?
We got
Oh my gosh,
disconnected.
I'm so excited. So I am taking suggestions for people that you would like to have on the show. We can have anybody from the top to the bottom to the middle to all kinds of walks of life. And I want you guys to understand that this is, over 18. So, and we have a disclaimer that we are not responsible for what guests say on the show because it's live. We can't edit it. We can't. No, we can control as much as we possibly can. But I tell you what, guys, I like it when guests they feel comfortable enough to come on the show and talk and possibly vent. I mean, we had some venting last week.
I think that's good. I think it's good to, get your your feelings out there in the open, in the air, so everybody knows where you're standing at and what you're dealing with. And it's nice hearing everybody else's point of view on a subject.
Absolutely.
So like for instance, like the topic of today, grass fed. Some people, I'm assuming the majority of people are going to say grass fed, but maybe there's that one person who might like horrible meat. I don't know, like the GMO meat. I don't know.
Hi, Nicholas.
There's always somebody who's on the other side of the fence.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, look it! It's our picture.
I'm surprised they didn't get me yawning in the beginning.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
I was like,
that was bad. But I'm really excited, you guys. I'm just gonna throw it out there. We are not pro podcast, not pro. We're not like.
No. This is
career podcasters. We're just here to have fun and talk to some amazing people. And, we would like the show to grow. I'm not going to lie.
And this is somewhat, what is this? Like the fourth episode?
I think so. Is it the fourth? No, it's not the fourth. No, wait.
Yeah, it is. It's got to be the fourth.
No.
It's either the fourth or the fifth. You guys tell us.
No, that would be bad. So I'm going to have to count.
Whoever's
I think it was December 17th is when we started. So we'll have to look.
We did take.
I'm sure.
Take 2 weeks off. Was it 2 weeks or was it?
No, we took a week off. We took Christmas off.
It was 2 weeks then, right?
No, we took Christmas off.
Yeah, but if you take Christmas off,
it's only a week. The show is every week.
But it was 2 weeks between the show.
No.
Yes, because we skipped a day. We skipped.
No, it's only
Saturday. Or did we go? Did we move it to Saturday instead of Friday?
Oh, I am over you right now.
See, now we're gonna keep debating about it.
This is how it is every day,
I
guys.
win.
No, it was only a week because if it's a weekly show, that means that it's once a week. We missed a week.
So that is.
Am I wrong?
2 weeks before this.
Am I wrong, you guys?
That's 2 weeks between the show, right?
Hi, Kim. Hi, girl.
I don't know.
Amy
who you
says
are, but
hi.
Hello. Where's
Hi, Amy. I'm sorry. I get so excited. I'm like a squirrel. Whoop. No, I'm just kidding. But it's almost time for our guest, Burt Watson. I'm really excited. I don't know if he's in our
Amy's in Facebook jail.
holding. Oh, Amy's in Facebook jail. That is really.
What did she post this time?
She did, but she didn't. I saw it, and she didn't even post anything.
No,
look,
she definitely did something.
No, there was some really awful. I can't say, but there were some really not so nice people on Facebook, and they were.
There's people that.
Why would you look?
Opinion.
Okay, you guys. I love all people. I don't care where you come from, what background. I love all people. Stop the nonsense. Okay, just because one person has an opinion and it's different from yours, doesn't mean you need to defriend them. You were friends with them for some reason. So stop defriending people. Have debates. Talk about things. Oh my God, you guys are driving me nuts with this.
It's okay to have a different opinion than your friend. And it's funny because I
know she's innocent. I know she's innocent.
As I'm going, through I've known a guy for like 3, 4, 5 years, something like that. And I thought I knew him very, very well.
Oh.
And this 2020, that was definitely the year of everybody voicing their opinions on things, and I had one way of thinking and he had a completely another, and this was a guy I was like really cool with, and I'm like, I do not agree with you. I don't agree with you, but I still I'm willing to be your friend. Just don't talk to me about this subject. It's like one of those taboo subjects. You just can't talk about it because you both feel so emotionally strong with it.
Oh, I know. There's passion on both sides, you guys. Passion. People have passion about things they believe in, and
it's funny.
You can't get mad at them for that, right? You can't get mad.
No. And growing up, I remember there was a few taboo subjects that we couldn't talk about, like politics, and then wait. Oh,
Bert's
there
ready.
he is.
Hi, Burt. Oh my God, Burt.
What's up, baby?
What's up?
My amazing friend. Hi. So excited to catch up with you.
Hey, let me tell you something, baby. You can't agree with everybody on everything. Okay.
Yes.
Thank
you.
You
You know what? You just listen. You don't hear it, but you listen to it.
Yes.
You know.
See, Bert, I love you so much.
Hey, you disagree. All you do is incite an argument, baby.
Yep.
Yes,
Like, no,
learn to
I
walk
don't
away. I love you from afar. No, I'm just kidding. Right, exactly. Hey, Bert. So, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, my name is Burt Watson from Philadelphia, PA.
Hey, hey.
Live and living color, PA. Hood rat by definition, but educated. Well, I was actually born in the South.
Okay.
Long time ago. So I've been this road. Okay, and I've been down that road and back again. Grew up in Philadelphia and kind of went away to college in the late 60s. Tell you how old I am. I went to college back in 60 something. Ran track. So I went away to a very small college, back in Nebraska, and came out of college, went in the Marine Corps, and just to kind of summarize it a little bit, I kind of had a chance meeting with Joe Frazier in the early 70s and a chance meeting again in the late 80s, became friends and partners and was hanging out a little bit and we were hanging out, and this was just after he had retired in 1981. So he was kind of done, but he was by all means entitled to be done because he gave us what no one else will ever give us in that heavyweight division. And I say that as a camera. Okay. So we had a chance meeting and became friends and started hanging out a little bit, and kind of he's hanging and I'm trying to hang, and he's hanging and I'm hanging because I couldn't really hang. And
trying to hang.
Got to be a little too much one day. So I said to him, I said, you know what, bro? You're gonna have to hire me or leave me the hell alone. Because I can't hang with you and get up and go to work and still live, So you know what he did? Joe Frazier hired me.
What?
Oh, look at you.
Now we gotta know how this
sight unseen, without knowing, knowing I had no history in sports per se, but he knew I wasn't stupid. And we got along real well, and we reached a comfort level with each other, which, back in the day, people were committed to what they said to each other.
Yes.
We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have internet and computers and stuff like we have here now. If I told you I was going to be someplace Tuesday at 9 o'clock, I was there Tuesday at 8:59.
Oh, yes.
Okay, but that was just the way it was. So, people were very responsible for what they said because they couldn't text or, page. For those of you who don't know, pager came before cell phones and texting.
Yes, they did.
I was alive during that period, but I was very small. I remember playing with it. I'm like, what is this?
Oh man, boy, do I remember those pages.
Yes, so, I had do you remember the one where you could flip it up and you had the little keyboard and that was the best one.
Well, that's when I got lost.
Oh.
when technology started asking you to assist it, that I was done. When it was doing everything for you, I was good. I was like, oh man, this is sweet. But then when it said you have to, I was like, oh hell no. No, I might as well go and buy another box for that kind, instructions. So I got lost when they started asking us to help them with the stuff they were creating. I was done, but I had to catch up real quick, because it would have left us behind. So Joe and I, when I said that to him, definitely, hire me or leave me the hell alone, bruh. He said, you know what? There's that chair. And I sat in that chair, and that was 84, 85.
Okay.
Or something like that. And at the time, you know, and don't quote me on all the dates. I can only,
There's a little bit of wiggle room. We got wiggle room.
I can only account for what I walked in this room. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I can't really account for much beyond that. But you know, we became friends, and at the time, Joe Frazier had 6 family members fighting.
Oh,
The world
wow.
only really knew of Marvis Frazier, but he had Joe Jr., he had Marvis, he had Tyrone, he had Rodney Frazier, who was a heavyweight. He had a cousin, a nephew, Anthony, and he had another, Mark, was another nephew, which was his brother Tommy. It was his son. So
Wow.
there was 7 of them fighting.
Wow. Could you imagine like trying to do prep with them? Their
Man,
diets and nutrition and
crazy. What was crazy, I actually started in the fashion industry, if you can believe that.
what? Bert, no way.
Well, you brought style to it, didn't you?
I got something on the wall right there that I went from FIT to Mayer School of Fashion Design. I was going to be a pattern maker and a designer.
Ooh.
I went from there to the gym. Okay. Luckily, I just gotten out of the Marine Corps and I was from Philly, so I
Thank you for your service.
I know how to throw these a little bit, you know.
All
So,
right. You can teach us a few things.
you know, so getting in that gym with him and all the athletes, it was a little different, but I wasn't totally out of my element, you know. And fast forward, man, he put me to work, and my job then was to create situations for him and those boys on the use of his name.
Yes.
How difficult could that have been to use the name of Joe Frazier back in those days to get something done? So
Absolutely. Yes. The name goes a long way.
we went a long way, you know. A few doors I had to knock on, but you know, when I knocked and they didn't answer, I held up the business card and the doors opened up. You know?
This is who I am. This is who I represent. Oh, okay, all right.
It was like
No, like wait, who? are
Not
you
today,
again?
Bert. Not today. Come tomorrow.
but it was special, man, and it just kind of it rolled along, and he started promoting fights and promoting the fighters and promoting the guys, and you know what? All he did was said to me, "I think they need to be fighting. They ready to go. Let's go get something." That was it. And in my head, I'm
Let's
like,
go.
okay, all right, we going. Okay. So you know
I can
what?
totally see him saying that.
I picked up the phone. I know you don't.
The old school phone.
You know, I thought about, you know what? Let me call a matchmaker here in the city who can tell me where the fights were happening, because matchmakers in both sports are very connected, and they are the core of what makes boxing and MMA run.
Yes.
That's the matchmaker. So shout out to Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, and Joe Silva from back in the day, you know, and Russell Peltz and Bob Aaron's guys. Matchmakers was what made it work. So I got on the phone and I called the matchmaker and I said, "Listen, man, I got a gym full of guys here, and I got Smoking Joe Frazier behind him. What can we do?" Well, that was probably the best move I made, because anytime there was a fight, he'd call, and I'd call, and I'd ask, and they say, "Well, do we get Joe?" I said, "Of course we get Joe. He's gonna be working the corner, baby." There you go. 3 plane tickets, 4 plane tickets, we were gone. And his guys were fighting, and we were fighting, and you know, traveling and fighting and traveling and fighting, and it just kind of grew into you know, just careers for these guys, and then television started. USA Network was probably one of the first networks that started really showing boxing and giving boxing on a regional level exposure.
Mhm.
Very few guys back in that day got on HBO and Showtime. Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, maybe Hector Camacho, Julio Cesar Chavez, maybe them, but on a lower level you didn't. But USA Today came out with Tuesday night and Friday night fights and blew it wide
They
open.
sure did. They sure did. I remember.
A lot
Well,
of
I remember a little bit.
a lot of extra recognition for those who weren't, in the higher tiers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a good thing because it gave, if you could put a decent card together that they could air for 2 hours, you got a date, and Joe Frazier helped you get 4 more dates. Okay,
Oh.
so that it did, and we went on and we were promoting and floating around, and I actually learned how to do what I do, sight unseen, feet to the fire. Okay, because there was no manual, there was no booklet.
Yeah.
It was, let's go get this fight, baby.
Let's
And
do it.
and we did that, and you know what? I learned how, and it kind of just escalated, and I got to meet people who I would have never met in my lifetime. Working with Joe and getting to meet Muhammad Ali and George Foreman and Larry Holmes and Ken Norton and all the Eddie Futz, the world famous trainer, and working with these guys. And but you know what? I was digging the ditch, baby. So I wasn't looking where I was throwing that dirt. I was just rolling, And it was one of those things where it was unbelievable, and it was magical. And then to put those guys together and to work through that era, anyone and everyone, I would say, from 1984 to 1997 or 98 in box, 99, I'll go a little further, in boxing.
Go up to 2000.
I'm trying to put my head back to when I kind of transitioned from boxing to MMA.
Yes.
Which was roughly around 99. So that's why I went from 90 on to 99, because I said, oh no, I wasn't there then. But anybody who was in boxing from that time, the only person that I never had any working with or dealing with was probably Lennox Lewis.
Oh.
Anybody else, Mike Tyson, Oscar De La Hoya, Tito Trinidad, Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, Meldrick Taylor, James Shuler, Mike Tyson. I did Mike Tyson's last 5 fights.
Okay.
I did, starting when he fought Buster Mathis Jr. right here in Philadelphia. Got a call from Don King. And the only reason I got that call, because once I started with Joe, then they got to know. That rhymed a little bit, didn't it?
It did. I was like,
you set that up. You set that one up.
Unintentional. But,
Okay.
but I got to know him. People got to know him. People got to see. And as I was doing, they would do events and they say, oh, let's give him a call. Because they knew that I would get it done, and knew that I would get it done and get it done the right way. And they didn't have to walk behind me and pick up the crumbs, because when I laid tracks, I ate everything in front of me. So they were good with that. And Don called, or Bob Arum would call, or Showtime or whoever would call and say, hey man, we got to fight. Can you do this? And I would go and I would tell Joe, hey, listen, man, I got a call from Butch Lewis. Now, Butch Lewis was, at the time, he had the Spinks brothers. I'm sure everybody remember Leon and Michael Spinks.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
And Butch called and said, hey, man, I need your guy. Can we borrow your guy? And Joe said, yeah, if you give me some love. Love was Money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me some love, baby. Give me some love, or give
I am
us some love, and you get both.
using that.
You know, and it worked out, man. And so we went around, and by that time, man, I was on a fast track to just throwing stuff together and putting stuff together and putting stuff together for television. But I was working and learning at the same time, and was becoming, had a real comfort level with the fighters, and working in that level, that high level. Because once you start going and working television and major events, man, stuff started, cameras started and lights started getting bright.
Lights, cameras, action, all yeah.
And some people, when the lights go on, some people's lights go out.
Yes.
Okay? They can get dim, but they're not supposed to go out.
Absolutely.
And I never let mine go dim, because when you do this, people sneak up on you.
Yes, they do.
I learned that in Philly, but it kind of transitioned, and it was, it was great, man, to get to meet and to work with those guys and to work through with boxing. And let me know when I'm talking too much.
You are not talking. No. I love hearing your stories. I love it.
Working through, and I got a phone call one day from a guy, and this was once things had really gotten to a point, and everybody know Marvis fought Tyson, and and Joe Jr., but Joe Jr. was actually the better of all the fighters.
Yes.
He was undefeated. He was 19-0 or something like that. But he got caught up in the streets of Philadelphia. And that was hard to take, and it was tough to see. But everybody could fight, and everybody was going. And as we went along, one day I'm in the gym, and I get a phone call from this guy, and this guy said, "Is this Mr. Watson?" Somebody called me Mr. Watson. I was like, "Yeah, bro." Not is this Burt? Is Mr. Watson there? Mr. Watson, my name is, and his name was Shackleford, and that was, I'm like, phew. And this guy said, "I'm trying to put this thing together for television and yada yada." And he started talking, and I'm like, shh. Well, from that phone call developed a video, which today you can't lie, because Google's got everything on it.
Yes, they do.
Shit, today somebody's Googling it right away, and then, you didn't say that, okay?
Well, let me see what's going on here.
It developed into a thing called Champions Forever. And that was by ION, ION, who's the company now that's a major television company. They were putting together a video with Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali, called Champions Forever. And it was a series of the 5 of those guys fighting together and the fights that they had together. And it was called Champions Forever. So what that did, hey, what's up, baby? I'm talking.
Oh, I know you saw that.
Somebody said, "Oh, SHIT, Burt, yeah, what's up, baby?" So out of that came Champions Forever, and I'm telling you, that was probably the highlight of my boxing career, because I got to travel 3.5 years with those 5 guys, and the people that I got to meet and the places that I got to go with those were not only that, but the stories that I learned. And then I got to really see just how real or unreal the feuds were between the guys.
Yes. Yeah.
And who liked and who didn't like, and the fights and all that. And I did that for 3.5 years and traveled with them. And it culminated, if you can believe it or not, with working with Joe Frazier and his sons and Marvis and the nephews, and then Joe and then Muhammad, and then behind Joe and Muhammad were the 2 daughters.
Oh, yes.
Who I had no idea were going to step out. And they did. And guess who did the fight between the 2 daughters?
Uh-oh.
Yes,
Burt.
Yep.
In
That is amazing.
Said we didn't want anybody else.
Layla Ali in 2007 or 6. She had a pro debut, and somebody called me to do the fight.
Oh, that's such a blessing.
And you know what? For me, and I'll say this probably for the first time, I had never seen female boxing.
Really?
I didn't know. No, didn't know what that was. So I'm like, wow, these girls are gonna fight. And then when she jumped out there, I was talking to Joe and going back and forth, and there was a little in there because I was jumping back and forth.
Yeah.
But that's where the career took us. And then the next thing I know, Joe's daughter is in the gym.
Uh-oh.
No
Uh-oh.
way. No way.
No.
But way, it happens.
No.
Uh-oh.
Those two girls got together, and here it was again, Frazier Ali, 2008 at the Turning Stone Casino in upstate New York. You know, and that was again surreal for me
To witness that, yeah, that's
I sat actually when they had the press conference. I sat on the side of the dais, and I was looking down at the profiles, and man, what a sight! Because it was the fathers all over again, because Layla looked like her dad and her family, and Jackie looked like her dad and her family. And that was all over again for me to see that, to see that happen again. And that was surreal. They had that fight. And, after that fight, first time that I had ever really seen or been involved with female fighting, and to see that those women fought. Because I expected, and no disrespect now, and don't y'all call Burt Watson for real. And
we know how to get a hold of you.
I know, so does everybody else. I made sure I didn't hide this, but I was used to seeing this when girls fought. They fought hard.
yes, ripping their hair, their nails out, like
Then with gloves on and really technically, perform the skills. For me, it was like, whoa.
a whole nother world.
It was a sellout.
I was not ready for it.
Television bought it, and it was Frazier Ali 4.
Wow.
The Thriller in Manila was 3, so this was 4. And I'm brain farting a little bit. I know Joe was there. Muhammad was late. But it was surreal for me to have been a part of that. And right after that, then I started getting calls from other promoters to do other fights and do boxing and do things other places. And then I got to go to Las Vegas, which is my favorite place to go. And I was doing fights there. And, at the MGM Grand and at the Taj and
that's a huge production. Huge production, beautiful.
And you know what? When I went, they did to me what Joe Frazier did. They said, "Here."
They hired you.
They hired.
We want to.
And you know what? And now that I've stepped back a little, and I relish what they did, because I have never had a person in my career tell me how to do my job, ever.
Isn't that nice? That is so nice.
Ever. But I can say that now because my career is back behind me. I know it, but I never had anybody to tell me how. They always, but you know what? They never expected.
No suggestions or advice, like
no. He is the goat. OG.
Well, they did that also because they wanted to work my ass off, and they were.
Okay, all right, there we go.
We're gonna get our money. We're gonna get.
You're gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
In hood terms, it's called getting the butter from the duck.
Oh, I haven't.
That one up.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that in so long.
Now, don't you say you know that, because then you're dating yourself.
Right.
The butter from the duck, And I was again amazed because before I knew it, I was working with the Klitschko brothers and
Oh, I love them. Love them. How were they? How was it working with those two?
they were. It was amazing because first it was the first time I'd seen two white guys that tall that didn't play basketball and knew how to fight. They were like 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", and they were both boxers, fighters. And when I met them, I don't think it was their pro debut, but it was their pro debut in the United States.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the promoter was Mike Akery. He found my number because they passed you around, and he found my number and he called me and told me he had them guys, and I did a show with them in Florida. But them and I did De La Hoya and Arturo Gatti, and I became pretty familiar with the scene in Las Vegas and working in Las Vegas. And I did I think it was either De La Hoya and Gatti or Kostya Tszyu and Zab Judah.
Oh, I love Jab too. Oh, Zab.
It was
He's
one
awesome.
of them. Oh man, that was they were one of them.
Such a good guy.
Somebody hooked me up, and that's where I went from boxing to MMA. Transition.
So who was? I have to ask the question.
Hey.
You've always asked me this question. I'm like, oh, I'm neutral. Who was your favorite to work with? Were they all good? Were there some where you bumped heads with? Where like, no, you're not listening to me. You got to do it this way.
I can honestly tell you, and out of respect for him, I'm not going to name him.
Okay.
I can honestly tell you, in my entire career, I have had one incident with one fighter in my entire career. My career right now, I'd say 359-0. I've done 359 fights.
Wow.
I've walked 6,480 guys to the ring or the cage, guys and girls.
That's amazing.
If you average 8 fights per fight, and I've done this math, that's why I can say it so easy. I've done this math, but they were all easy. The women, oh boy, trouble. Were easier because you know what? They just came in to fight. They came in to get the job done. They were not divas. First female fight I did was Jackie and Layla, and you know what? They were not divas or divettes. They just came in. They fought. You gave them what they were supposed to get. They're supposed to have, and a lot of things that I did, I created. They were supposed to have a scale on site that was certified, not calibrated. There's a difference between the two. That was certified. When you certify a scale, you make sure that the weight's correct.
Yes.
When you calibrate a scale, you fix it. So there's a difference. You hear people say, "Oh, you got to calibrate." No, you don't calibrate nothing. You certify that scale. If you got to fix it, that means I got to get another one. But they were good, and they were easy to work with, and then when I did the very first female fight in MMA, Ronda Rousey and Liz Carmouche. Oof. And they were
Liz.
They came in as stars. But you would never have known it. And Liz Carmouche and I had a little more to talk about because she's a former Marine.
Oh yes.
Really have stuff to talk about. But that working with them was, everybody else made more out of female fighting than they did. than the female themselves did. But I can tell you something. When that bell rang, whether in the ring or the cage, they scrapped. There was no, I mean, a jab was a jab, a hook was a hook, a knockout was a knockout. If you got knocked out, you got knocked out.
Yes, you got knocked out. Yeah.
You got knocked out. Okay. There was no difference. And then when you transition into MMA, it was, you know, the transition or the move from a side mount or a top mount to an arm bar or a leg lock or a rear naked choke.
Yeah.
The move, if you had it right, it looked good regardless.
Yes, it did.
Oh,
It did.
man. So I was truly amazed with that, because I thought in my head, that old male thing, that it was going to be different, but it wasn't. It was poetry. And the one person, I'm a stickler for having my scales certified, and they're right.
Yes, I agree.
Believe me, if I walked out of a room, that scale was right. So I was pretty high and tight if somebody called me and told me something was wrong with my scale. So some young man came in one day, and anytime you came in, first thing you did, first face you see is this one. That's boxing, MMA. I made sure I got the fighter first, because I want to do this to you, and then I want to get right here on you, okay? And then I want to see what you got here. So I made sure all those things were in place so I could do that. So this young man comes in, and I was in the room working with someone else, actually. So I asked him to wait, and he, you know, he gave a little look. He didn't say anything, but he gave a look, well, why I gotta wait? He didn't say that. But you know body language.
Yes, body language and the look.
I'm like, whoa, now. So, but you know what? I ignored it because I just met him. And when you came to me, I don't care what your name was, bro. You're a rookie.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
You're coming into my house, into my world, and you eating my food. So until you eat that food and pay that rent, you're a rookie. So I just and I never treated anybody any differently. But he didn't want to wait, so he went in the room, got on the scale. So I was a little twisted with that, but I didn't say anything. So I got a phone call from him as I was talking to some other guys, and he said, "Yo, that was wrong. My name ain't Yo, bro." That was the first wrong thing he did. Yo, this scale ain't right. And I said to him, I said, yo, the scale is fine. Maybe your big ass ain't on weight.
Ooh.
Well, you know, he said something and I said something, and and you know, and I said, you know what? One thing, and I said, you know what? Enough of this phone, bro. I got off the phone and went around to the workout room. And when I got to the workout room, I walked the door and he came over towards me. And there were people in the room, and I wasn't thinking, because I kind of forget that they're fighters, that they're really trained and good at what they do.
Yes.
Okay. I can hold my own. But and I wasn't thinking. So when he came to me, I went right to him, and they jumped in between us. And when they jumped in between us, I realized what was about to happen.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what probably would have happened, but neither one of us had good intentions. My intentions were to get in his face and straighten that young man out.
Yes. Yeah.
First of all, like I said, he was a rookie, you know, and I just, Lord, I'm getting mad sitting there thinking about it. Well, they stopped it, and I thought, you know, that man was coming at me, and I just looked at him and I said, you know what, son? I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna walk over here, and I'm gonna check that scale myself. And I told his guy this is exactly what I weigh. And I took my clothes off and I got on that scale for him. Okay. Well, I did what you should have done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly what the scale said. And he looked at me and I looked at him and I got dressed and I walked out of the room.
Like enough said.
I walked out. But
That's it. Mic drop.
I did, yeah. I called the matchmaker and I said to him and Mr. White that I was never going to work with that guy again. I didn't want that guy in front of me again. Now, I wasn't thinking about that when I said that, but I meant that.
Yeah.
You know, if I had to sit and be disrespected by a fighter who I totally took care of, because I always told them, I'm going to tell you something right now. I can F with you, but I'm never, ever going to let anybody else F with you.
Yep.
Never.
That's the truth.
And, you know, if it's up here, I want it right here. If it's in here, especially if it's in here, I want it right here. The only stupid question is the one you don't ask, baby. And that was my creed. So if I felt that way, and I did that from my heart with them guys, I was not, especially not a rookie. Your name wasn't bigger than mine, bro. So, you know,
Was it?
come on, baby. Well, I can tell you, he fought in that fight, but that was the last fight he ever had.
Oh no.
Really?
No, they didn't bring him back. Well, they were. I told them if he came to another fight, then I would wait and work the next one. I wasn't gonna work with him again.
I
But
gotcha.
I
Do you
can
ever
understand.
do you ever apologize at all, or was
Well,
there dialogue afterwards? To
he couldn't have, because that went a little too far. Because if there was nobody in that room, he and I probably would have gone at it. And he would have probably put me in some kind of rear naked triangle or something I didn't know how to get out of. And it would have been bad for me. So, no, I didn't. What you doing, baby? What the hell you doing over there? So, anyway. I tell you, I don't miss nothing.
He doesn't miss nothing.
So he didn't fight again. That was the end of it. And you know, but for the most part, I'm gonna tell you, man. I mean, you know, Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, Tito Ortiz, Rampage.
My favorite. I love Rampage.
You know, all of them. I mean, none of those guys. I've never had a problem. You know, Michael Bisping. You know, Conor McGregor. And I'm talking about guys. I'm talking about guys. Go ahead.
Look, I'm an Irish sister. Okay, so I gotta ask you, what was it like working with that guy?
It was, you know what? He was a fighter. He was a fighter that came in and came to me. He came to me and respected me like everybody else did, and I respected him. And you know what? The scale was right. The workout rooms were there. His money was there. His name was on the room. The mats were cleaned every day. The room was 62 degrees.
Whoa.
61.5 was no good. It had to be 62 or higher. No air conditioning. There was always fresh water and fresh towels. I cleaned those workout rooms 3 times a day. 3 times a day, I made my guys, with a solution that I got from my mother, to spray the mat. We were sanitizing before they were sanitizing. and I didn't use bleach, because bleach was not good for a mat, because it stayed and it would get in the guy's eyes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, just regular water and a little soap, you know. So all these things I made sure were 100%. So, and that they got their money when they checked in. I made sure they got their money, that they got picked up at the airport. And the first thing I asked them, how was your pickup? Oh, it was good. Did they treat you like somebody? He said, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir, they did. I need to know that. Here's your food money, bro. Gave them their food money, checked them in, did all their paperwork, did all those things, and then gave them my cell number and said, listen, I don't care what it is. Try not to call me after 9 o'clock at night because I was never up past 9 o'clock. If I was up past 9 o'clock, I was doing dirt. So it's not a good time for you to stop me if I'm doing dirt. So I gave him my number. So all those things, you know, were what I did, and then I would after I was done, you know, and I would get everybody together and talk to them and leave them. I went to the manager of the hotel or the general manager, and I would tell them. I used to do this once I got there, but then I started doing it before. But then I found out if you did it before, it didn't go over right. So when I got there, I would go and I would tell them, I want you to call me before you call the cops. I got a hotel of young boys. They're all boys. They're all young. They're all girls. They're all young, and they're all kids. But they're my damn kids.
Yes.
Yep.
So before you call the cops, you call me. I can't tell you how many calls I got. I cannot tell you how many calls, but I told them.
All before 9.
Call the cops. And I have gotten that. I've gotten that call maybe 10, 12 times, you know, and 5 times after 11 o'clock at night. And I know that because I counted them.
Oh, wow.
5 times after 11 o'clock at night.
5 times after 11.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And what were those calls for? Were they simple calls or were they?
Well, there was calls that they had to call me before they called the cops. But let me tell you something. When I took fighters to hotels, everybody was amazed. Everybody was impressed. Everybody was surprised. But everybody was also a little afraid. You know, they didn't want to piss them off. They didn't know what they would do. They didn't want to approach, you know, and I'm just being real with you, you know, and so instead of doing this like they would normally do to a guest or just anybody, they called me. Mm-hmm. So I'm laying in the bed one night and the phone rings about 12 and I knew it was late because I had all the lights out. And every night before bed, even now, I have a shot of Grand Marnier and I chase it with a honey.
Oh, Grand Marnier. I don't know. I probably didn't say that right. My nose is congested.
I still do that today, okay? I'm going to have a shot of Grand Marnier tonight.
What? You gonna have one for me too?
Oh, yeah.
I can't drink while I'm training, so.
So I had my little shot of Grand Marnier and so I knew when that phone rang, I was like, you know what? This is not good. This is not good. And then when I looked, it was the hotel. So I answered it and they said, Mr. Watson. And I said, okay. And then they told me, well, we got a little bit of disturbance going on and it's kind of late and the guests are complaining and yada yada. And I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So I asked him where was it and what. And so they told me where in what room. So I was actually on the fourth or fifth floor. I'm deathly afraid of height. I would not stay in a hotel. I would not stay in a hotel past the 8th floor. Never gonna do it. Never did it. Did it once and got on a damn elevator in Canada that I didn't know was a damn outside elevator. I'm on that damn elevator. The elevator goes to 2 and I see the light get bright.
Like, wait a minute.
I'm outside. I'm like, oh shit.
You're okay. You can say shit. It's okay. We're adults here.
I'm like, oh no, help. And they're like, and then you know what? I didn't want anybody to hear Burt Watson screaming and yelling. Man, that was the worst experience of my life. And I finally made it over to the wall to push a button so that damn thing didn't go all the way up to 22 or wherever it was going. And I crawled off.
That's
okay. And I'm holding down, looking up, and I pushed the button for it going back down, and I got on it, and I swear I was done. So anyway,
you're like, I'm not getting on that no more. I'm taking the stairs.
Ever. I actually went to a hotel that the room started on the 5th floor, and you had to walk across a plank or whatever they had to get from the elevator to the room, I changed hotels. I couldn't do it.
What?
And I'm a man that was in the Marine Corps, okay, that was on a Huey, on helicopters, went overseas on and went on a ship and all this other stuff. So I don't know, that shit didn't hit me till I was 50. When I got to be 50, that's when it hit me.
Oh.
Now I'm dating myself, but
Oh, wait a minute, you can fly in a plane though. Do you have the same issues on a plane?
Well, no, because I have an Ambien and a shot of Grand Marnier.
Okay, there you go. He needs that every time before he gets on the elevator.
And you fly, you get in the front of the plane. I don't want to say always first class, but you get in the front of the plane, and you get a window seat, and you put the shade down.
See, I have to have the window seat, but the window has to be up. I need to see.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't like. Look, I freak out when the plane starts going like this. But then I have to look out the window and then I'm okay.
If I'm on a plane and I can see it going up like this, I'm done.
Yeah, right. I feel like I would sway more on his side.
You know what? I make sure before I try to put myself to sleep and take that 2 shots of Grand Marnier, I make sure that the flight's going to leave first, because I hate to do that shit and then that flight leave and I'm sitting in the lounge like this. In the plane.
Hey, Coach, where are you? What are you doing? Are you awake?
If you've ever gone, sometimes you can get at the airport and the plane not get in the lounge or on the plane and the plane not take off. I've had that happen. So I've made sure the plane was on. So, but no, I was definitely afraid of height. So I got the phone call and I said, okay. So I got it, and luckily it was dark. They was on the 7th or the 8th floor. I was mad at that, but it was dark. So I got off the elevator. Go ahead.
No, I'm just waiting for it. I'm excited.
I got to the hall, and when I got to the hall, I got halfway down there, and I could hear Vaughn Mason rock, bounce, roll, skate, loud. And this was a thug beat. And I'm like, oh. And it was 12 o'clock at night, a little after 12.
Oh.
I'm walking down the hall and I'm mad as heck.
Uh-oh.
So I get to the door and I can hear it. Now, the thing is that when you put guys in a hotel, and that's another thing that I had to do logistically, had to really pay attention to. Because if you were fighting her, imagine your rooms next to each other.
Yeah.
That couldn't happen.
Problem.
Or the guy you're fighting is down the hall. That really couldn't happen, because there's a time you might be on the same elevator. So I had to typically make sure that I position guys where that didn't happen. Because if that happened, guess who would get the first phone call? Me. And then somebody's going to say, how the hell did that happen? And then I'm going to have to answer. So you know what? I wasn't going to answer. So you know what? I made sure that it didn't happen, so I didn't have to answer that to anybody. That's why nobody ever questioned me. So back to my story. So I got off the elevator. I'm walking down the hall, and the music is playing and bumping and bumping. And I'm walking down, and I didn't have to figure out what room, because the closer I got, the louder I could hear it. I walked on down there, and I got to the door, and I heard it bumping, and I knocked on the door. Bam, 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 bam. And then
that's a bad sound.
No, I was hitting it. And then when nobody answered, then I really hit it. And then somebody came to the door, and the first thing I heard was, oh shit, it's Mr. Burt.
Put it out, put it out.
Oh shit. Said, open this door. Open this door. And they opened it, the door creaked open. You know, whoever opened it was standing behind the door. And I looked in the room, and there was two fighters in one chair, 3 of them laying on the bed, 4 on the floor. The ring card girls sitting on the chair, they're talking and they're laughing. I walked in, one guy's in the bathtub, another guy's, and this room had a little small kitchen, and somebody was cooking something, and I'm gonna mention one name. I'm gonna mention one name. And,
Wait, what?
and one Pat Barry was in there. Okay.
Oh,
So I walked in there and I said, "What the hell?" And they got quiet. I just said to them, "I know damn well y'all did not make them wake me out of my bed." And then I gave them that feeling. And I said, "You know what? I'm going to tell you something." And then I put it on. I am so disappointed. I am so ashamed of every professional in this room. Now, I was doing this when I said that. I had to go at him. How dare you? I said, "You know what? By the time I get on this elevator, this floor better be clear." I turned around and walked out of the room. And I heard somebody say, "I told y'all." See, music was gone. And the next thing I know, and the thing about it, they were in rooms. As I was walking down the halls, I could hear doors open and doors closing.
It's time for the bed, guys.
It was done. It was over. It was over. But that was something that I had to control from the offset, from the beginning. When they came in and they sat down and I started talking, I made sure I said to them, "Listen, don't make them call me. Don't let them call me to your room. Please, son. Or please, ma'am. Don't let that happen. Okay, we're here to fight. We're here to get your money and to leave.
Yep.
If for some reason we don't get to that point, I don't get paid and you don't get paid." See, I didn't have to say any more after that.
Yep.
But,
So is that why you're the babysitter to the stars?
yes,
Because
ma'am.
I see it on your T-shirt. I'm like, that sounds like babysitting duties.
Exactly. They were, but you know what? It was if I didn't do it or somebody wasn't there to do it, it would be all over the place, and it would. I can't imagine. When I did those shows, I always had 5 or 6 guys working with me. And when I first started, it was mainly my family, my sons, my nephews, people that I knew that if they did something wrong and I got in their face, they wouldn't go home and leave me. Okay? If I got in my son's face like this, you know what? He took it like a son's supposed to. You couldn't do that to everybody. But it had to be totally coordinated and organized, where fighters and people, if they had any questions, they could only have to ask one person. And I always wanted that way. And night of the fight, one voice, one person and one voice. We keep it that way, you don't have to worry about nothing. You never have to worry about nothing. You don't have to worry about the commission coming in this room and telling you can't do that, because you know what? They're going to have to tell me why you can't do it. But then I'm going to have to tell them why I told you could do it.
Uh-huh.
So let's get this right now, so we don't have to go through that. So
Burt don't play. Burt don't play.
No, but we did that. And I used to get in their face and tell them, you know what? I can tell you one thing. I'm not the one that's going to be trying to kick you know what tonight. So you better be right. You better be on weight. You better be on time. You better respect yourself, because this is no joke. This is no game, baby.
This is all across the board, whether they're pro, whether they're amateur, all across the board, right?
All across the board. The only pro there, man, was me.
I love
That's
it.
the way I looked at it. It was, I had to take control without being disrespectful. And also keep it where they, now I'm going to drop some names on you.
Uh-oh.
No, not drop. Not like that.
These were all bad people.
Wait, they might be watching. They might be watching.
Well, no, not that kind of way, but this is the holiday season, and I got a text from Nate Diaz.
Oh, I love Nate. I love those guys.
Nate, he's texted me back. I've spoken to Anthony Pettis. I spoke to George St. Pierre. I still communicate with all these guys, but then I'm still doing my show, Legends to Legends, you know, which we'll talk about a little later. But I still, I communicate, and I've always wanted to communicate. The worst time I'm having now is that I have phone numbers in my phone that these guys gave to me back in 2009, because my first fight was UFC 30 in 2001.
Whoa. That was
First MMA fight that I ever did was UFC 30.
wow.
And I think on that one was Chuck Liddell. I think Randy was on it. I think BJ Penn made his pro debut. I think Jens Pulver was on there.
Man, those were the days. Those were the days.
And I got phone, and some of them have not changed their numbers, and some of them have. But I still communicate with these guys, and you know what? And now that I've kind of pulled it in a little bit, I got time to sit down and text stuff I used to make them stop doing. I got time to communicate, and these guys are my children.
Even Tito, even Big Tito.
He's a big child.
Even Tito. Well, you know, Tito just won a public office.
Yes, he did. Huntington Beach. Yes, I believe it. I believe it's city council. I think.
He sure did.
Yeah, I was rooting all the way from Illinois.
I just spoke to Randy and Illinois. I do now the show Legends to Legends.
Yes.
On
yes.
MMA Junkie, and the next show is coming up after the first part of this month. You know, it's going to drop, and you know I've talked to Matt Hughes, I've talked to Chael Sonnen and Randy Couture, and you know, legends, you know, guys that I work with, and that I can sit and have legitimate, like I'm sitting and talking to you guys now, legitimate stories and legitimate tales, you know, and I got them when their eyes were this big, you know, and they didn't know what was going on, man, you know, when Dana White was maybe 185 or 190 pounds.
Oh, wow. Wait, he was, oh, that's right. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how old Dana was, but I met Dana in 2000, October of 2000, when I did that fight. I was telling you, Costa Zoo and Zab, judo, whatever it was. And the guy promoter had something in between, and he got on the phone, and I was in his office, and I left. When I got down the hall, he called me back. He said, "Burt, come here." He said, I was just talking to a guy I know that's doing this stuff, that's going to be doing something, and he needs a coordinator. And I told him, "You are the man to do it." And I said, "Fine, you know, what is it? If it's another job, and it's about that love that I learned from Joe Frazier,
that love,
MONEY,
that love."
You know,
So still in that.
He said, "Yeah, we'll, you know, I'm sure he'll take care of you." And so after the weigh-in, I met the guy, and the guy was Dana White. And, you know, we just had a brief conversation, and my thing was, you pay me and respect me, you got me. Plain and simple. And that was...
I like that about you, because there's a lot of artists or a lot of people out there that they don't get paid. And then they complain because they don't get paid. No, you got to tell them, this is my service. No, I'm not doing anything unless you pay me.
Oh,
I love you already.
Yeah, you pay me and respect me. You got me. This was October of 2000, or maybe September. I got the phone call around December or January that he was having a fight in February. And I was like, okay, that's kind of quick, but fine, I'm good. UFC 30. First one. Wow. Mark Coleman, Kevin Randleman, and somebody else chasing somebody in the bathroom and tearing them up. Oh man, those were. But I knew nothing, absolutely nothing about MMA or grappling or nothing. I came from boxing. So but athletes, and tough guys and fighters. So I was comfortable, transitioning to working with fighters because it was, I knew what they needed. I knew what they had to do. And the main thing that they wanted was you to respect them.
Yes.
You respect them and respect their space and don't let anybody else disrespect them. I had a time where you do these events and you got press conferences and you got media running around, and then they take the primary guys or whatever and they put them on press conferences. And one of the media people called me one time, "Oh, Mr. Burt, we trying to get," I ain't gonna mention no names. He said, "Mr. Burt, we trying to get so and so, and we can't get them." So I said to them, "You know what? That's not a marker I want to call in, baby. I'm sorry about that. I'm not calling that marker in." Now, this was me talking to the media. "I'm not calling that marker in." And they said, "Okay." So they hung up. So I got round the phone and I called him. I said, "Listen, they calling me because they looking for you. Don't let them call me again. Okay?" He said, "All right." Click. He hung up and he went on down and did his little press thing. But they called me. I said, "No, I ain't calling that marker in. That's not my marker." And I wasn't going to call him. I wasn't going to disrespect him.
Yeah.
If he wanted to do it, he wanted to do it. If he didn't want to do it, don't make him do it.
Yeah.
The only thing I made them do was be on time and make weight.
Amen on that.
Man, I didn't have to worry about that because they did. And I got in that dressing room with them, boy, and I just, you could feel the energy.
I know. I was there. Well, not with you, but here, I traveled, I did events. I did kind of sort of what you did here in Illinois, and I went to Miami and did a couple of things, and I was able to go backstage and interview the fighters and talk to them. Such an intense moment to feel the energy between these fighters. It was amazing.
And they flip.
Yeah.
You get 4 fighters during the course of the week. You get the guy that shows up that either wants to be there or don't want to be there. Then you got the guy that's not on weight and has to make weight. Then you got the guy that after he's made weight, he's either made it or missed it and he's mad. And then you got the guy that's got to get in that ring or that cage and fight. You get 4 different people. And when it's all over with, then you got the person you got to send home either with or without a victory, but who had just gotten in a ring or a cage. And I can tell you that when I go in to get those guys, and I get right here, I get in their faces so I can feel it. And I can feel that energy, and I can give them my energy. And I walk them out of the dressing room. When I get them in that holding area, I know that that's the last time they're going to have somebody in their face that didn't want to knock them out, okay? And I had to give it to them. And I had to give it to them to get to that cage or that ring. And I gave it to them. And when I let them go, that was it, man. It was all gravy from there, baby.
Gotcha.
Gravy, baby.
Yes, that. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God, Burt, you are amazing. So what are you doing now? So I understand. Do you have a podcast too?
Yes.
Oh.
I am. And I got a story. Always got a story. I started doing Instagram Live, but Instagram Live, they cut you off when they want to. Sometimes you can't get somebody, and you always doing this, trying to get things going. And I was doing that with Instagram Live, and my grandson, I have 5 grandchildren.
Oh.
My oldest grandson's 24, 25.
Oh,
my youngest
wow.
12. Yeah. Grandchildren.
Okay. You still look really young, Burt. You still come on now.
So he said to me one day, he said, "Papa, why are you on Instagram by yourself?"
Oh.
The bulb went off. I'm like, you know what? Why am I on Instagram by myself? He said, "You should be talking to somebody." Pop pop.
Talk
So,
about
got off, and I called Vitor Belfort. It was the first guy I called. I called him. I said, "Yo," I said, "I'm gonna do this Instagram thing, and it's gonna be live. But can you sit on it with me, or me call you, or however they do that?" And he said, "I'd be happy to do it, man. One legend to another, legend to legend." And that was ding. I said, "Oh."
Okay.
So legends to legends was what I got from Vitor Belfort, and I thought about it. So I did the first one with him on Instagram, and again it was yucky. So I called MMA Junkie, and I was talking to them about how I could get that to a better level and a better production, like you guys got here.
Yes.
Knew nothing about StreamYard or anything.
Yep.
And then one thing led to another, and they said, "You know what? Let's give it a shot. See how it works out."
Now you're gonna have to interview me now.
Oh, come on. You kidding me?
I have to go on that podcast.
I got a lot of stories to share.
You owe me. You both of y'all. You owe me.
Hey, did you know, Bert? I got to tell you something real quick.
Oh,
You
Go
know
ahead.
this guy is my son, right?
I do know that.
not related.
And
Okay.
Why?
Let me say this to him. Thank you very much for that Outcast Fresh. I like that.
I'm
I was like, yeah. I know all that stuff, bro, because I work with kids. So go ahead.
okay. I just wanted to share with you this was my son. So guess what?
Mhm.
I've got a second guest here. I don't know. Is it okay? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what your time constraint is, but I have Andrew Haney here. He's actually in studio, so you can come sit in between us.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Like a
And that's-
sandwich. No.
Now, is that your only one? That's your son? That's your
Wait.
Oh no, I have an older one. He's 28. Shh, don't tell anybody.
man. He looks like your man. What's up, baby?
Oh, he is not my man. Okay, so I'm gonna have to figure out how, because I only have 2 sets of headphones. So I have this Rodecaster thingy. So I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to figure out how I can get it so that he can hear you too.
I got you.
Do that.
So he can't hear me now?
Here. I don't know if we turn. I don't know how this works.
You sound like me.
Can you talk, Bert? Nope.
That's, yeah.
No, I'll test.
No, I just muted myself. Okay, so I'm gonna let you here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Loud
Okay,
and clear,
so
baby.
we're gonna cheer.
Loud
We're gonna
and
cheer headphones.
clear. What's up, baby? Can you see? Can he see me?
Yeah, he can see you.
you.
Oh, here.
I like that fresh haircut, baby. I like that hairstyle.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that,
Nice to
man.
meet
That's
you.
good. That's good and fresh, man. That's good and fresh. I like that. I like
He
that.
he's actually my neighbor, and let's go into a little explain about this guy here. Why he's here? No.
No, tell me. I want to hear.
Yeah, so obviously I'm her neighbor, but yeah, my name's Andrew Haney. Yeah, she used to do I did MMA for a while, and she used to do some of like the promotion, so she knew me before she really knew me, type of thing. And
Right.
now I get to get on this podcast, and perfect day to see you too.
Wow. Well, it's a pleasure, man. And it's a pleasure to be here. And they had your when they did that little thing tonight with, I was telling them, with Outcast and Fred. Like, yeah. Uh-huh. You should have played it a little longer, But it's
I know.
there.
That's Instagram. Instagram will only let you do like 20 seconds or whatever it is. It's terrible.
Well, don't. It's not. It's not just Instagram. Outcast will come and grab you out of that chair if you do any more than 20 seconds of their music.
Right. Some of
They'll
those
say,
guys come to Chicago often.
Boy, Andre will come and get you.
Yeah. Oh man, I would
He's
love that.
actually the real gangster.
Come get me, Andre. Come on.
Oh man, well, it's a pleasure to meet you, son.
Yeah. The pleasure is mine. Yeah, I like to consider like your type of person, kind of like an offensive lineman. Let me explain. Like, I asked my girl earlier, I said, can you name me a quarterback? And she was able to name me 3 or 4. I asked her, could she name me an offensive lineman? And she couldn't do it. Now, obviously, Tom Brady's amazing. He's a good, quarterback, skillful. But without these linemen, it's just not the same. Without your vibe, without your work. I mean, you've seen it. You had that show where Ariel put plenty of fighters and they've all gave you compliments. You said it was probably the best thing that's happened to you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I watched it and it made me feel some type of way, and they weren't even saying shit about me,
Oh man, yeah. It was probably one of the highlights of my careers because I didn't expect those guys. I knew that I left them, but Daddy was gone. Dad had left the house, and they was in their house all by themselves. And they said that, man, and that made me feel some kind of way. But you know what? You guys are special. Fighters are special, and special people need to be treated that way because training is a lot. Getting in that cage or fighting is a lot. Making people pay you is a lot, and sacrificing your family. People don't know a lot of that, but I know that because I lived it with you. So when the guys came to me, I knew that part of it needed to be comfort, and they needed a comfort level because they had just left their family, and family members sometimes came or called on the phone. But I knew what it was, man, and I have nothing but love and respect for you guys, man. It will always be forever.
Likewise.
Look at you. What? Oops. Sorry, I'm trying to get him to listen, and I think the microphones are too close. But look, I'm learning the system, Burt.
Well, you know what? It's like I told you. You learn as you go along. As you advance through, you learn. Like I had to learn the fighters. I had to learn these guys. How their attitudes, what their attitudes were. And I had to understand that because they were not going to change that. And it's funny because I'd go through the dressing room and the commissioner, somebody would come in and they would start barking stuff or saying stuff or whatever. And this is a fighter. And they would look up and like, who the hell is he talking to? But then I'd go over there and say, look, man, you need to just leave that alone. Let me handle that and forget that he was in here. Then I'd have to turn around. I'd go to the commission and I'd say, listen, let me tell you something, bro. If you need to go in that room or you need to discipline them or you need to tell them to do something, do me a favor. Respect me and tell me and let me carry that message. I said, because I don't want to tell him. I don't want to tell him if one of them guys tie your ass up in there, baby, I'm not going to come get him off of you.
Real hard.
Okay? And when them guys are in that dressing room getting ready to step into that cage, that's the wrong time for you to get in front of them and start barking orders. Wait a minute. Absolutely the wrong time. So, you know what? I learned to do that. And I'd go in there, and before I'd have my talk with everybody. And I'd say to them, listen, I want you guys to realize that tonight is a lot for everybody. Everybody in here is going to be off the chain, off the hook, on edge, running around like this. Everybody. But I want you to know that I'm here. Like that. And if you got something, you put it here. Don't worry about anything else that's going on. I can handle that. And don't you try to handle it. So if somebody comes in here and gives you a hard time, you tell me. I'll get knee deep in them. But don't you react. Because, well, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're okay, Burt. We keeping it real on this show.
I tell them don't react because they're going to react a little differently. So you know what? They respected that, and that's exactly what they did. The things, because guys are fighters, and this, boss. Fighters are, some guys don't like the way some guys train. They don't like the way the guys work out. They don't like the way this guy looks. They don't like the corner, but they don't say nothing. The body language tells you. So when I had to put dressing rooms together, I had to know that. I had to know who who just fought somebody or who just fought somebody in somebody's camp. Now, how the hell I knew that, I don't know, but I knew it. Okay, I took the time to get to know it. And when them guys came there, who was from Black House, didn't want to be with MMA House, or didn't want to be with ATT guys or whatever. I didn't tell the guys that, but I knew that. And when I put their names on the dressing room, that stuff was right, but somebody has to pay attention to that. And that's what I did with these fighters. I paid total attention to what they say, because nothing a fighter would say to me was irrelevant. But if they said it to me, they wanted me to hear it, and they wanted my ears. So I did that, man. That's why I got them guys on that wall back there. You see them guys on that up on this wall here behind me? All a part of my career, man. And I am, man, and they let you into their fraternity, and that's a good fraternity to get in, because once you get in there and they feel a comfort level and they trust you, man, I had something one time where some guy somehow got lost in the dressing room with a beer in his hand. Now, that was the security people that kind of let this guy go around. And I saw him, first of all, you can look at him and tell he didn't belong back there. He had that look, and I'm like, what the hell is he doing? But you know what? I walked over to him, and I said, yo, sir, first of all, he had a beer in his hand. Right away, I knew he wasn't one of my people. Yep. Because everybody knew right away, you were not bringing no beer or no certain type of food I would allow in there, because once you get to eating and throw food all over the mat and guys got to roll around. So but I set that up first. So I went over to the guy and I said to him, I said, how'd you get back here? And he said, what do you mean how I get back here? I come to see my boy. And they heard him. When I turned around, there was 5 guys standing behind me. Okay, 5 fighters, boy. They was ready to wear him out. And I just happened to turn around and I saw them standing there. And in my head, I'm like, uh-oh. So I had to turn around. I told them, y'all go back in the dressing room. I got this. And I turned around to him and I said, now, do I need to tell you why you got to leave this area, sir? And he just turned around and walked off. I went back in the room and I said, thanks, baby. But I know they had my back. Man, they would have, everybody would have put a move on him. He'd have had 5 moves in one combination in a minute, But it was that kind of love, and it was that kind of, camaraderie.
You do your job, you mastered your craft, and people respect you for that, Man,
and you work with, you work with BJ Penn, but you got to treat BJ Penn like you would David whoever. They all, and I did that, regardless of who it was, everybody. We were a family, we were a fraternity, and we had to respect each other. Even if a guy, you've been here in the UFC or Bellator, wherever, you've been here 8 or 9 years, and this guy just got here. I brought him in this house. So he belongs in this house. And I want you to treat him like he's supposed to sit at this table. And don't let him tell me you didn't, because I'm going to remember that. And then I'd walk away and like, man, I just got away with saying that. You had to know how to say it, and they knew you meant it, but I wouldn't do anything else different at all in my life ever again, or do it any other way different, because they've showed me love, and they still do. I do that, my podcast now, Legends to Legends, and I call guys who are legitimate legends, man, and ask of their time, and ask them to sit with me and let's talk about things that maybe people don't know about you, or something you didn't say to anybody. And you know what? They do it, man. And I'm having a great time. And my next show is gonna be on middle of January. I'm gonna put it out Monday.
Oh,
we rolling, baby.
We rolling, baby.
Here we go.
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream, Bert?
Oh, geez.
You know,
Where'd that come from?
oh, your mom is a pistol.
You can hear him too. What is it?
I told him his mom is a pistol.
Oh,
You
yes.
know,
Yes, she is. She's more like a shotgun.
I like that. I like that, baby. Double barrel. But you know what? It's good to see that you guys work together. I'm a family man. You know, like I told you when I first started, you know, doing fights, I had 5 guys: my son, my nephew, my cousin, and my brother. So if something was wrong, you know, like I tell them, you know, we had to pass out buckets and we had to pass out towels, and some people left their cup at home and some people didn't have a mouthpiece, and you know, all that other stuff, and somebody sneaking Vaseline up under here. Oh, that's me. All of it, you know. So we had to do maintenance on that kind of stuff. And I would tell them, you know, man, I can't tell you the places I pulled Vaseline from, you know.
Whoa.
But things I've done in the holding area, you know, and like, oh man, come on, bro. And nothing. And you know what? Let me tell you something now. Nothing illegal, okay? Because illegal stuff, I've never caught a fighter doing anything illegal. But you know, with MMA, when I got into it, the rules were made up as they went along. Okay. You know, we got accepted by commissions one at a time. And every time we went a different place or a different commission, I swear to you, they didn't know. And sometimes they made rules up when we got there. You know, what you could or you couldn't do, or you couldn't have this or you couldn't have that. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to confuse my guys. I'm going to have them rules for them when they get here. And then I'm going to go to the commission with the rules. And I studied their rules. There's not a commission that I have worked with that I don't know their rules. Because once you know their rules, then you can apply it to, you know, so I studied it and I learned it. And I've been doing this long enough to know, you know, after going around so many, it's pretty much the same. But I made up rules for guys in the UFC and MMA for dressing rooms and how they should do and what they couldn't do, you know, and you know, that they couldn't have Vaseline. And I made up little sayings on my own, you know, about how they would do things. And I can't say it now because we on what kind of radio, but they know what the hell I meant, you know. You know, I told them they couldn't have Vaseline any place, no Vaseline, no petroleum jelly, no KY jelly, no peanut butter and jelly, no fish grease. But I said it a little different. Yeah. Okay. You know, no Bengay. But no Bengay. You know, it was hey. Let me tell you, man. And my man in the middle there, he hear me.
He's like, yeah.
He's like, you know what? I heard that back in the day, or I heard, you know, but you know, you had to know those things, and not only know them but feel them, and you know, they weren't wrong. We learned as we went along. We learned how to do MMA rules and how to do events and how to put things together for the guys, you know. But I made sure that nobody messed with my guys. When we got there, we were ready. We were right. I didn't need the commission coming and telling me, oh, you got a fighter in there that had no water. That ain't true, because I just gave them water. Or you need towels for your fighters, or there got to be ice, or don't have the ice over here. No, the ice
sounds like Illinois.
Oh, man.
Illinois is so bad.
Where were you when we were fighting, right?
I know.
Hey, man, I made 100% sure that all those things, everything was labeled, names on the dress room. You know what it is for a fighter to come to an event and have his name on the door and his name on the back of a chair? That does a lot for a fighter.
Oh, dude.
You know, it makes a big difference. you know, and you everybody gets 2 towels and everybody gets 5 bottles of water and enough ice, you know, and the room's the right temperature and the mats are clean and there's a chair there and I got chairs flipped around so you can get your hand wrapped, you know, and I used to hire the cut men to do hand wraps. They let me do that. So I got to know
You work with Stitch?
Don House, Rudy Hernandez, Big Rob Monroe, all the guys you see now. Well, all the ones with gray hair mostly that are still there, that are doing cuts. I hired them and I brought them on. And I used to work and train the cut men on how to work with the fighters. We had a system down to the cut men. Before they went in that room, they were in my room. When they went in the room, they went into the room together. When we got fighters in there, you know, fight was at 5 o'clock. I wanted the first 6 fights wrapped in gloves by 4:30. Plain and simple. And everybody, they did that. And then once they were done, they worked their way down to the next ones. And then while these 2 were out there, I had 2 in the dressing room to walk around to make sure. Sometimes the fighter, his wraps, you know, I've had fighters take their wraps off and not tell nobody. Oh. You know, because it got to a point, they're like, and I'd walk, what the? And he ain't got, you know, he ain't got no hands. So you know what I did? I started a course with my cut men where if it took a guy longer than 5 minutes to wrap one hand, he didn't know what he was doing. Oh. And I knew that. You got one hand. I mean, you know what? You can take your time because if you know, guys, you do the knuckles, you do the wrist, you take it up to a certain level. Some guys like their thumbs down. Some of them don't. You know, some of them like too much up in here or whatever, and then you got to close it back up. But I, you know what? I learned that. I learned how to do that so that when I went into my cut men, I had my cut men. I didn't have guys because guys were like, "Oh man, you know that's too tight." No, my guys knew how to do it, what hand to do, how to do it, you know, because I had, when UFC first came out with gloves, the gloves had elastic on it. And I saw the glove and I said to myself, this ain't gonna work. Now I know, but I knew that I don't have big hands. But I put my hand in that glove under this little thing here, and I couldn't get my hand in there. So I said, now how in the hell is a guy going to get his hand in there with his hands wrapped? You're going to be all day trying to get that glove on and trying to push it. So you know what I did? I had, and I'll take this one, I had them snip the middle and open the flap up and put Velcro on it. Oh. If you look at a set of UFC gloves right now, they open up and they Velcro. I did that.
He created this. He needs to own.
You know, I have a pair of gloves like that. Now I can say I have one that Burt designed.
Well, because they couldn't get it on there, and I said to Stitch, and I said, Stitch, tell me something, and we had a fight. It was Brock Lesnar. Who was the guy that was bigger than Brock?
And he's a big guy.
He fought Brock Lesnar, and Brock got his hand wrapped, and his hand went from a regular glove to a catcher's mitts. Oh. Okay, once he got his hand wrapped, and I was like, "How the hell are we gonna get that on there?" So I said to Stitch, "Stitch, if you cut this damn thing right here, are we gonna be able to wrap that thing up enough that the glove won't come off?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, cut it." I said, "Go through the dressing room and cut all of them." I said, "If I'm going to get in trouble, I'm going to get in trouble for all of them." They cut every one of them and then put white tape on it. And then they put the white tape on it and they covered and they could get the guys. Now they got the gloves. Oh,
wait a minute. You got an example. I got it right here. You got a pair.
Now the gloves are open. You see that with the Velcro. And I did that. Because it was a little too much trouble. And I'll tell you one more since I'm yabbing. So we're fighting one night, and just like this, I'm on the screen, and the fighters are down, and they're like this. And all I could see was white tape. But I couldn't see who the guy was. That didn't make sense to me. So I got on, true story. This was that fight. That Monday, I got on the phone and I called Uline. And I said, do you have red and blue tape? They said, yes, sir. I said, I want 24 boxes of red, 24 boxes of blue. I took it, and the first one, I think George St. Pierre fought Matt Serra maybe or one. And if you look at those old tapes, you see they went from white to red and blue. And I went so fast, and the damn commission messed up because they put red on both guys. I said, no, you're supposed to go red and blue.
The concept, damn it.
Okay, but that's true story. That's how that started, and now you don't see not only MMA but boxing is all. Now, very true. In Japan, they used pink tape and they used something, but they didn't use red and blue.
They used
and so when I saw them guys like this with all white, and I couldn't see, I said, no, that don't look. So now I did it, red tape, blue tape. Herb Dean said to me, he said, man, he said, wow. He said, you know what? Now I don't even have to look because peripherally I can see red and blue, and I know who to grab. And the judges told me the same thing. They said, you know what? Guys up on the fence now, and y'all are climbing that fence with your feet, or trying to get out of that mount, they can see that red and blue tape, And yes, I will tell you that's mine. That is mine.
He owns it. He owns it.
Yeah. Well, let somebody else come and tell you that.
Is there somebody else laughing too? No. Okay. Wait. Do you have a question?
No, but it's been. You got somebody else in that studio?
Right?
No. No, I was just. Hi, Michael. He just said it's good to have you back on A2D Radio.
Is that Michael Wesley?
Yes, yes.
I just see the names popping up here and what they're saying. And I'm saying, hey,
And Steve's the one who actually got me back when I had my surgery and life returned to somewhat normal.
Yes,
He's
ma'am.
like, you need to come back. I'm on the platform because Steve and I used to do the OG stuff on the internet.
Yes.
So he's like, you need to come back, and I'm like, oh no, I'm rusty. I've been out the game for a minute. I don't know what's going on. And so he's like, no, just come on. And I talked to the producer. Producer was like, oh, just talk about 15 minutes of sports. I'm like, I'm so out of the loop, dude. I don't know what's going on. And so I'm like, but I'm just gonna do what I do best. I'm Racheal, so I like people. I like to talk to people.
Blaze.
Let's talk about normal stuff, right? Let's just talk about everything. It don't have to be technical, right?
No, it's not. And that's what I did. And that's with the podcast or the show that I do. And it's a good thing now because everybody's kind of locked down and there's nothing. But I call mine is OG chatter. It's not an interview. It's OG chatter. It's what we know, man. And it's when you can talk that and feel it, for realness, it's a good thing, man. And it's everybody's doing it today, and it's also a way to communicate and to get the word out and to get to get back with people. I've known you a while, you get to communicate with people, but it's a good thing. It's unbelievable for me to see how MMA has, how the sport has taken off and how it has escalated from where I first did the show to right now they're at Yaz Island or wherever they are, and it's amazing, man. It's unbelievable.
We got to fix Illinois, Burt. We got to fix Illinois. We used to have shows popping off every weekend. Now we have nothing.
I think I did maybe 2 UFCs in Chicago, and I did one show. I forgot who it was that I did for them in Illinois. But no, I do know. I'm not gonna get you in no trouble, but I know the commission. I know.
Oh yeah.
I know the commissions, and you know, I mean, it's a tough time right now.
Yeah.
It's
really
tough,
is.
and it's
No, go ahead.
really tough on regionals. You know, because if you don't have television or television money, it's hard to pay those guys. It's hard to bring the fighters in and legitimately pay them, and it's tough for them now to do a show with nobody. Although I'm sure now everybody's getting used to it, you know, and it's like, you know what, you shut them out and you're in the gym, you know, because when you're in the gym you don't have a big audience, you know, you just roll. But as long as you get paid, the hardest thing I'm having right now is keeping up with the new guys, you know, and the new names that are coming on, and you know, the new guys that are coming along, and you know, I'm watching the changing of the guards. You know, there's still a lot of guys in, because I told you my first show was in 2001. There's still a lot of guys. There's some guys not have been there since 2001. I'm the only one that's still around since 2001. Okay, those guys are not still around like that. But during my time, you know, I know Damian Maya is still at it. And I ask guys right now, and I ask you, sir, I'll ask that young man, ask him who does he think is the best BJJ practitioner in the business?
Currently?
Uh-oh.
Yes.
What do you think?
Currently. I'll go currently.
Currently. Let me get a second.
Okay. Yeah.
Other than Damian Maya, because obviously that
Give me your hand, bruh.
and
without question. And you know what? He has, and I ask everybody, I do that show, Legends to Legends, and that's one of the questions I ask everybody. And I'm going to tell you, I have asked, and I've got shows right now in the can. I just did one with Henzo or Hoist, one of the Gracies. But even down to a man, everybody says Damian Maya. And you know, and then I've asked, you know, like who would they compare to George St. Pierre's style right now that's fighting today, or who would they compare to? And I'll ask you that. If you were to say somebody that's fighting right now, who would you compare to George St. Pierre's style that's probably fighting now?
St. Pierre got good stand-up, all around good game, very smart IQ.
Jeez.
It's a tough one.
It's kind of tough.
I'm smelling you cooking, baby.
You know, and obviously the matchup they're trying to bring GSP back and Khabib, but
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you know, it's ironic that they're trying to bring that matchup back. And I had a conversation with George about that. You know, and I'm gonna leave that alone. You're not gonna get that out of me.
Oh, come on.
But Khabib is probably one of the names that have been mentioned, you know, and I can see some similarities. I have not seen another Anderson Silva yet. I haven't seen that type of technical skills yet. I haven't seen the speed of Vitor Belfort yet. I haven't seen the strength of Matt Hughes, kind of. Now I'm getting in trouble with this. I know that, but I'm not naming. I'm just saying I'm looking for what I see from I'm an OG. Okay, so I get excuses about something, but you look at different things and different styles, and you know, with the women as well, you know, and the strength. you know, and the technical skills. And there's a lot of things that when I saw this thing developing, you know, that speed Vitor Belfort had, you didn't realize it till he put it on you. Okay, you didn't, and you know, John Jones, the agility that he had at 22 or whatever, but you know, that was a family thing, because both of his brothers were in the NFL while he was fighting.
Yeah, it's an athletic family, right?
You know, both of them. So it was, you know, it was in there. Ironically, I see, you know, I don't see another Ronda Rousey, but I don't see another Amanda Nunes. But they were different, and I'm going to tell you. And I worked with both of them, man. And for Amanda to still be holding it down like that, you know, it's unbelievable, you know. And the other women that are coming along, and you know, and they're handling it, and you got people over in Bellator, you know. Ben I think Ben's done, but you know, man, the skill level of these guys and these women are unbelievable. And you just sit and watch that stuff on television, you know, you get a cooked meal. Okay. The meal is done when you get it on television. You don't know how much they had to sweat in the kitchen to make that work and make it taste right and make the table look right and hit that Grand Marnier and chase it down with a honey. They don't know how to do that. But, you know, to get that done, it's a masterpiece. And all praises to you, my man, and anybody that does it or has done it, you know, I give it to him. And that's from Burt, period.
The OG, the one and only.
Hey, Burt, we got 5 minutes. 5 minutes to touchdown. So tell
before we go live, baby. We got a 5-0 to go. Okay. You said we got 5, and that's how I told him we got 5. Go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. I love you, Burt. I love your energy. Man, I needed you. I needed you while I was sick, because I needed you to tell me in my ear to, like, keep fighting. Because I'll tell you, when I was sick, there were so many times I wanted to give up. Like, I'm done. It's over.
Ain't but two, him and you. ever. Leave that shit to the judges, baby.
For real.
I love it.
The judges, I can guarantee you they're going to make you cry. And don't come crying to me, because I told you it was your night, your fight, and you better go get it right. Go ahead.
Tell us where we can find you, Burt.
Burt Watson for real on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And I love you for coming to me on social media, as always. And I am now doing a podcast called Legends to Legends on MMA Junkie. And I'm going to put the next show out starting Monday. I got a video that I'm putting out Monday that's going to run until the show comes through. And I want everybody who's on Instagram and Facebook, and if you're not, contact me and connect to me, and I'll friend you, baby.
All right. You might get a friend request from my son. And
yeah.
Please do. Please do. Holler at me so I can put you in the loop.
We absolutely adore you and love you, and I would love to have you on the show again.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. I appreciate you. And you know,
are amazing.
I always say, and you know I'm getting ready to roll out of here. And you know when I get ready to roll, you know it's time to go. You know we got a 6-0 to go. We got a dirty 30 before we roll to that hole. That means it's time to go to work. And when it's time to go to work, you know what that means, baby. We rolling! Yeah!
All right, Burt. I love you, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys. Appreciate you. Much love. Good luck to you, son.
Absolutely.
Yeah, keep an eye on my son. He's a bodybuilder.
Pleasure meeting you, baby. Peace.
Peace. Yeah. That was Burt Watson, and we have Andrew Haney on here. And Burt had so many stories to talk about. So We're gonna have to have. I know, a lot of experiences. So now we're gonna have Andrew on another time. I mean, he's accessible. He's across the street, so he can come on studio. You guys got to tune in every Friday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I know I keep getting crossed with the time zones because A2D Radio is Eastern Standard Time.
Just tune in earlier.
I'm learning. I'm getting it. So tune in every Friday with me, Tarzan, and you're going to see Andrew. We're going to get to talk to him in the next show. Rolling. Love you guys. See you next Friday. My thumb's crooked. There you go.